take a breath. Just breathe. And for the next few minutes, I want you to forget everything the world has told you about who you are. Forget the labels. Forget the criticism. Forget every person who looked at you and said you were too much, too sensitive, too intense, too weird, too different. Because what I am about to tell you is going to change the way you see yourself forever. You are different, not slightly different, not a little bit unusual, genuinely, deeply, fundamentally different from most people around you. And your whole life you have felt it, that gap, that invisible wall between you and everyone else, that feeling like you are speaking a language that nobody else around you fully understands. And for years, maybe your whole life, you have carried that difference like a wound, like something to be ashamed of, like a flaw that needed to be fixed, like a problem that needed to be solved. But what if I told you that difference is not a mistake? What if I told you that the very thing that made you feel like an outsider your whole life is actually the most important thing about you? What if I told you that God, the divine, the universe, the creator of everything, made you different, on purpose, with a plan, for a reason that is so much bigger than you have ever allowed yourself to believe? Stay with me, because by the time this is over, you will never look at your difference the same way again. Let me start with a question. Have you ever watched a flock of birds in the sky? Hundreds of them, moving together, turning together, diving and rising as one unit. It is beautiful, it is synchronized, it is impressive. But there is always one bird, flying a different path, higher, alone, not following the flock, moving in its own direction with its own purpose. That bird is not lost. That bird is an eagle, and eagles were never designed to fly in flocks. That is you. That has always been you. The world looks at the eagle and says, "Why can't you just fly with everyone else? Why do you have to be so different? Why can't you just follow the pattern, stay in the group, move when we move, stop when we stop?" And the eagle does not answer. Because the eagle already knows something the flock does not. It was built for a different altitude. Now I want to take you somewhere. I want to take you back to the beginning. Not your beginning, the beginning of everything. Think about this. Before the universe existed, before the stars were born, before the first atom of matter appeared in the void of nothing, there was a mind, a consciousness, a divine intelligence so vast and so perfect that our human brains cannot even begin to contain it. And that mind had a plan, not a general plan, not a vague outline, a specific, detailed, intentional plan for every single soul that would ever exist on this earth, including yours. The ancient Jewish wisdom tradition teaches something called the concept of the neshama, the soul. And it says that before you were placed in a body, your soul existed. It had gifts. It had a specific assignment. And then it was sent into the world, into this body, into this family, into this specific moment in history, not randomly, not by accident, on purpose. The Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah that God does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. And the scholars of Islam expand on this. They say that this means God looked at your soul before you were born, measured its capacity, its strength, its potential, and then designed your life accordingly. Your struggles were sized for you. Your gifts were sized for you. Your difference was designed for you. The Christian tradition speaks of how God knit you together in your mother's womb. Knitting is not accidental. Knitting is intentional. Every stitch is placed deliberately. Every thread is chosen carefully. There are no mistakes in knitting when a master is doing the work. You are not a mistake. You are a masterpiece in progress. But let us get specific. Because I do not want this to be abstract. I do not want you to hear this and think, yeah, nice words. I want you to actually feel this in your bones. Why are you different? Let me give you 7 reasons. 7 divine reasons why God made you different from everyone else. And as I go through each one, I want you to notice which ones make something inside you say, "Yes, that is exactly me." Rezoa, you were made different because your assignment requires it. Think about this carefully. A surgeon needs steady hands and a precise mind. A poet needs emotional depth and sensitivity. A warrior needs courage and strength. A healer needs compassion and patience. Different assignments require different designs. You cannot do what you were sent here to do if you are built like everyone else. If your calling is to reach people who are broken, you need to have been broken yourself. If your calling is to speak truth to a generation drowning in lies, you need to have a mind that cuts through noise. If your calling is to build something that has never existed before, you need to have a vision that reaches further than ordinary people can see. Your difference is not separate from your purpose. Your difference is your purpose. I think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. This is a young man who from childhood was different. He had dreams, vivid, prophetic, enormous dreams. He could see things others couldn't. He felt things on a different level, and his family hated him for it. His brothers threw him in a pit because he was different. They sold him into slavery because they couldn't understand what he carried. But here is what I need you to see. The very quality that made Joseph different, that gift of seeing, of dreaming, of perceiving what others could not, was the exact quality that eventually made him the second most powerful man in Egypt. That difference was not despite his assignment. It was because use of his assignment. Your difference right now might be causing you pain. It might be costing you relationships. It might be making your life harder than it seems like it should be. But that difference is the raw material of your destiny. You were made different to break a pattern. Every generation has patterns, cycles, ways of thinking and living that have been passed down without question. Some of those patterns are good. Some of them are chains. And God always raises up certain people who are wired differently, to break those chains. Think about every revolutionary in history. Every person who changed the course of human civilization. Were they normal? Were they conventional? Did they think the way everyone around them thought? No. Every single one of them was different. Harriet Tubman was different. She kept hearing a voice, an inner call, that told her to run, to fight, to go back, to lead others to freedom. The people around her thought she was radical, extreme, different. She was. And because she was different, hundreds of people walked out of slavery. Nelson Mandela was different. While other people accepted apartheid as just the way things were, he refused. Something in him would not accept injustice as permanent. Something in him burned with a vision of equality that most people around him could not even imagine. He was different. And because he was different, a nation was transformed. You were made different because there is a pattern in your world that needs to be broken. In your family, in your community, in your generation, in your field, in your circle. Maybe you are the first person in your family to dare to dream beyond survival. Maybe you are the first person in your circle to take faith seriously. Maybe you are the first person in your generation to say, "Enough. We are not going to live this way anymore." That is not arrogance. That is calling. You were not made different to make other people uncomfortable, although that will happen. You were made different to make something change. Raison d'être. You were made different because easy paths produce weak people. This one is going to sting a little, but I need you to hear it. The people who have the most comfortable, the most conventional, the most ordinary lives are often the people who make the least impact on the world. Not because they are bad people, not because they don't have value, but because comfort does not build character. Ease does not develop strength. Fitting in does not forge a soul that can carry real weight. You were made different because your destiny requires a strength that can only be built through difference. Think about what it takes to be truly different in this world. It requires developing a thick skin because people will reject you. It requires building an unshakable inner foundation because when external validation disappears, you need something real inside. It requires learning to trust your own perception because when the whole world says one thing and your soul says another, you need the courage to believe your soul. Every single day that you navigate the pain of being different, you are being trained. Every time you hold your ground when pressure says conform, you are being strengthened. Every time you choose your truth over their comfort, you are being prepared. For what? For the moment when everything depends on you having exactly the character that your difficult journey has built inside you. The soldier trains in pain so that in battle they do not break. The athlete trains until their muscles scream so that in competition they can go further than anyone else. The musician practices until their fingers bleed so that on stage they can do what no one else can do. Your difference is your training ground, and God is not a careless trainer. He knows exactly what He is building. Rasan for you were made different to see what others cannot. There is a concept in neuroscience called perceptual sensitivity. Some people, a relatively small percentage of the population, are wired to process the world more deeply than others. They notice more, they feel more, they pick up on subtleties and patterns and undercurrents that most people walk right past without seeing. For a long time, this was pathologized, labeled as anxiety, oversensitivity, being too emotional. But the research tells a different story. Highly sensitive people, people who perceive deeply, are often the ones who can read a room like no one else. Who sense when something is wrong before anyone else does? Who can feel the emotional weather of a situation with precision that others find almost supernatural? That is not a disorder. That is a design feature, because God needed people in the world who could see what others miss. Every great healer, every great counselor, every great leader, every great artist, they share this quality, the ability to perceive at a depth that others cannot access, to see the person behind the mask, to see the problem beneath the surface, to see the beauty hidden in the ordinary. You were made different because the world needs eyes that can see more than the surface. Think about the people in your life who have come to you in their darkest moments. Not because you had all the answers, not because you are the most successful or the most put together, but because somehow they knew you would understand. They knew you would see them, really see them, not just the version they show the world, but the real, scared, struggling, hoping version underneath. That gift is not accidental. That gift is intentional. You were designed to see, and the world desperately needs people who can. Riso Fai, you were made different to pioneer new ground. Pioneers are never normal. By definition, a pioneer is someone who goes where no one has gone before, who enters the unknown, who maps territory that has never been mapped, who builds on land that has never been built on. And no pioneer in history was conventional. Think about what it takes to be a pioneer. You have to be willing to leave behind what is familiar. You have to be willing to face uncertainty without a map. You have to be willing to fail publicly, because pioneering involves trying things that have never been tried, and not all of them will work. You have to be willing to be misunderstood, because people who haven't seen what you've seen cannot understand why you are going where you are going. Does any of that sound familiar? You were not made to repeat what has already been done. You were made to do something that has not existed before, in your family, in your industry, in your community, in your generation. There is something, a thing, a vision, a creation, a movement that is supposed to come through you. Something that is in you right now but has not yet come out. Something that the world is waiting for, even though the world doesn't know it yet. And that something requires you to be different. It requires you to see differently, think differently, move differently, believe differently. Your difference is not the obstacle to your destiny. Your difference is the vehicle. Race or sex, you were made different to carry a message. Every messenger in history was unusual. Think about the great prophets. Think about the great teachers. Think about the great communicators who shifted the consciousness of entire civilizations. Were they ordinary? Did they blend in? Did they think, speak, and move like everyone around them? No, they were marked, set apart, unmistakably different, and their difference was always connected to their message. You carry a message. I know that might sound overwhelming. I know you might be sitting there thinking, me, I don't have a message. I'm just trying to get through my day. But here is what I know about you. I know that you have been through things. I know that you have walked through valleys that would have broken most people. I know that you have felt things at a depth that most people cannot access. I know that you have survived things, questioned things, discovered things, learned things, through the fire of your unusual life that most people have never had access to. That is a message. Your story, the full, raw, unfiltered story of what it has been like to be you, is a message that someone desperately needs to hear. Not a polished version, not a cleaned-up highlight reel, the real thing, the struggle, the confusion, the breakdown, the breakthrough, the moments of doubt, the moments of revelation, the times you almost gave up, the times something inside you refused to let you. That is the message, and it can only come from you, because only you have lived it. Your difference shaped your message. Your pain refined your message. Your journey iced your message. And there are people right now waiting to hear it. Rasen Savin, you were made different because the world was not enough for you. This is the deepest one, and it is the one that I think, in your most honest moments, you already sense. Have you ever noticed that nothing in this world fully satisfies you? That you can get the thing you wanted, the relationship, the achievement, the recognition, and for a moment it feels good. But then the hunger comes back, that restless reaching, searching feeling that says, this is not it. There is more. I know there is more. That is not greed. That is not ingratitude. That is a spiritual signature. C.S. Lewis, one of the greatest Christian thinkers of the 20th century, said something that I have never forgotten. He said, if we find in ourselves a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world. You were not made to be fully at home here. You were made for something that goes beyond what this physical, material, temporary world can offer. And your difference, your inability to fully settle, to fully conform, to fully be satisfied by what satisfies everyone else, is actually evidence of that. You are not broken because the world doesn't fully fulfill you. You are different because you were made for more than the world. That restlessness in you, that searching, that sense that there is something enormous you are supposed to be and do and become, that is not a symptom of something wrong. That is the sound of a soul that was designed for eternity, temporarily living in time. Now I want to talk about something that I think is incredibly important, the cost of your difference, because it is real, and I am not going to pretend it isn't. Being different costs you things. It costs you certain relationships, because not everyone can handle what you carry or understand where you are going. It costs you certain comforts, because you cannot fully settle for less than what you know you were made for. It costs you the ease of just fitting in, because something in you will always resist the pull toward conformity. And sometimes, those costs feel unbearable. Sometimes the loneliness of being different is so heavy that you wonder if it is worth it. I need to speak to that directly. There will be people in your life who genuinely love you and still cannot fully understand you. That is not failure. That is the nature of being ahead of where you are. You are seeing and feeling and carrying things that the people around you have not yet been through. You cannot fault them for not understanding a territory they have never entered. But here is what I need you to know. Your loneliness is not permanent. There is a tribe for you, a community of souls who carry what you carry, who see what you see, who feel what you feel. They are out there. Some of them are watching videos like this one right now, feeling exactly what you are feeling in this moment. And as you step into your purpose, as you begin to walk boldly and openly in the truth of who you are, you will find them, one by one, season by season. Your people will appear. The cost of your difference is real, but so is the reward. I also want to speak to something that I know many of you are carrying, the weight of wasted time. Maybe you have spent years, maybe your whole adult life, trying to be like everyone else, trying to shrink, trying to fit, trying to sand down the parts of yourself that made people uncomfortable, trying to silence the inner voice that kept saying, "This is not who you are. This is not what you are meant for." And now you are here, and something is waking up inside you. And alongside that awakening, there is grief. Grief for the years you spent hiding. Grief for the time you lost trying to be someone you were never meant to be. Grief for the version of yourself that never got a chance to fully breathe. I want to speak to that grief with compassion. You did not waste those years. I know that might be hard to accept, but hear me out. Every year you spent trying to conform, you were learning. You were learning what does not work. You were learning the cost of abandoning yourself. You were learning the pain of living below your truth. And that knowledge, that hard-won, painful, deeply personal knowledge is now fuel. Nothing that God has allowed in your life is wasted. Not the years of confusion, not the failed attempts to fit in, not the broken relationships and the closed doors and the seasons that felt like pure loss. All of it is being woven together. All of it is part of the design. Your detours were not mistakes, they were preparation. Now I want to talk about what comes next, because knowing why God made you different is powerful, but it is not complete. The knowledge has to become action. The revelation has to become movement. So what do you actually do with this? The first thing, and this might be the hardest, is to stop apologizing for who you are. I mean that literally. Stop apologizing. Stop shrinking. Stop qualifying your dreams with, "I know this sounds crazy, but..." Stop downplaying your gifts to make other people comfortable. Stop pretending to want less than you actually want. Stop hiding the depth of your soul to fit into shallow conversations. You were not made to apologize for the way God designed you. The second thing is to start trusting your perception. One of the greatest casualties of being different in a world that values conformity is that you stop trusting your own mind. You have been told so many times that you are too much, too intense, too sensitive, too idealistic, that you start to believe it. You start to second guess your instincts. You start to outsource your knowing to people who cannot even see what you see. Stop it. Your perception is a gift. Your instincts are data. Your inner knowing is real. Start trusting it again. The third thing is to find the people who can hold what you carry. You were not designed to walk this path alone. None of us are, but chosen ones, different ones, often make the mistake of settling for community that cannot really hold them, of surrounding themselves with people who are comfortable but not compatible, of choosing presence over understanding. You need both. Find your people. Seek them actively. Look for the ones who light up when you talk about the things that make everyone else uncomfortable. Look for the ones who push you toward more rather than pulling you toward less. Look for the ones in whose presence you feel seen. Really seen, not just tolerated. They exist. Go find them. The fourth thing is to take one step today, not 1,000 steps, not a perfect plan, not a complete strategy with a 5-year roadmap. One step in the direction of who you actually are and what you are actually called to. One honest conversation, one creative act, one brave choice. One decision to stop living below the level of your truth. Just one. Because one step taken in faith is worth 1,000 plans that never leave your mind. I want to close with something I need you to really hear. There is a version of you that exists in the mind of God. A version that is fully awake, fully alive, fully walking in the truth of who they were made to be. A version that has stopped apologizing, stopped hiding, stopped shrinking. A version that has taken the difference, the uniqueness, the intensity, the depth, the vision, and turned it into a force that changes everything it touches. That version is not a fantasy. That version is you, the real you. The you that was designed before time began. The you that has been fighting to get out through every season of your life. And the distance between the you that is sitting here right now and that version is not as far as you think. It is not separated by years of therapy or decades of work or some impossible transformation. It is separated by a decision, a choice, a moment of finally saying enough. Enough hiding, enough shrinking, enough apologizing for the way God made me. I am different. I have always been different. And from this moment forward, I am done pretending that is a problem. Because it was never a problem. It was always the point. You were made different because the world needed something that only you can bring. You were made different because your assignment requires a design that ordinary cannot produce. You were made different because God looked at what needed to happen in this generation, and He looked at what He had placed inside you, and He said, yes, you are the one for this. Not because you are perfect, not because you have it all together, not because you are the smartest or the strongest or the most polished, but because you are exactly who you need to be to do exactly what you were sent here to do. So stop fighting your difference. Stop mourning it. Stop trying to fix it. Start leaning into it. Start trusting it. Start building from it. Because the difference that has confused you your whole life is about to become the most powerful thing about you. The world has been waiting for you to figure that out. And now, you know. So what are you going to do with it? I want you to do something right now. Right now, wherever you are. I want you to say this out loud, not in your head. Out loud, like you mean it, like you believe it. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, say it like you do. Say this: I was made different on purpose. My difference is not a flaw, it is a feature. It is not a wound, it is a weapon. I stop apologizing for who I am. I step into who I was made to be. Starting now, starting today. The world needs what I carry, and I am done keeping it hidden. Say it. Say it until it lands somewhere deep. Say it until something in you shifts, because those words are not just words. They are an agreement with the truth that has always been true about you. You were made different, and the world will never be the same because of it. But before we get there, I need to go deeper with you, because there is a layer to this conversation that most people never reach, a layer that sits beneath the inspiration and beneath the encouragement, a layer that is raw and real and sometimes painful. And I think you are ready for it. So let us talk about the war, because being different in this world is not just a challenge, it is a war, a real ongoing daily battle against forces, internal and external, that want you to be less than you are, that want you to shrink back into the mold, that want you to silence the voice inside you that keeps saying there is more. And I want to name those forces clearly, because you cannot fight an enemy you have not identified. Tichi Fastiemum, the voice of comparison. You know this voice? It is the voice that looks at someone else's life and then looks at yours and says, "Why not me? Why do they have what I don't have? Why is their path smoother? Why does their difference seem celebrated when mine feels punished?" Comparison is one of the most effective weapons against a chosen soul, because it takes your eyes off your own path and puts them on someone else's. And the moment you stop looking at your own path, you start walking someone else's. Here is what I need you to understand about comparison. You are not competing with anyone. You are not running the same race as anyone. You are not called to the same assignment. You are not equipped with the same gifts. You do not have the same history, the same wounds, the same preparation, the same calling. The person you are comparing yourself to is running a completely different race on a completely different track toward a completely different finish line. Comparing yourself to them makes as much sense as a fish comparing itself to a bird and feeling inferior because it cannot fly. You were not made to fly like them. You were made to swim at depths they will never reach. Stop looking sideways. Look forward. Your race is yours, your path is yours. Your pace is yours. And the only comparison that matters is who you are today versus who you were yesterday. That is the only race worth running. T-E-C-O-N-E-M-Y, the comfort of smallness. This one is subtle, and it is dangerous precisely because it does not feel dangerous. It feels safe. It feels reasonable. It feels like wisdom. It is the voice that says, maybe I should just be realistic. Maybe I should just accept where I am. Maybe the dreams were too big. Maybe the calling was just my imagination. Maybe it is safer to just be normal. And here is why this voice is so seductive, because smallness is comfortable. Conformity is easier. Fitting in dose reduce friction. Playing small does protect you from certain kinds of pain, the pain of rejection, the pain of failure, the pain of standing out. But it introduces a different kind of pain, a slower, deeper, more corrosive kind, the pain of knowing that you chose comfort over calling, knowing that you had something real, something true, something divine, and you traded it for safety, knowing that the version of yourself that was supposed to emerge never quite made it out. That pain does not arrive all at once. It arrives slowly, in quiet moments, in the middle of the night when the distractions stop and the real questions start. Was this it? Was this all I was going to do? Was this all I was going to be? I want to save you from that pain. I want to say to you clearly, the comfort of smallness is a trap. It looks like safety. It feels like wisdom. But it is a slow surrender of the most important thing you have, your true self. Do not trade that for comfort. The discomfort of becoming who you were made to be is so much better than the comfort of never becoming at all. Teach why other people's fear. This one is tricky, because it often comes disguised as love. The people who are afraid of your greatness are often the people who love you the most. Your parents who tell you to be practical. Your friends who tell you to be realistic. Your partner who gets nervous when you start dreaming too big. Your family who pulls you back toward familiar ground every time you start to move toward new territory. They are not bad people. They are not your enemies. In most cases, they genuinely love you, and they genuinely believe they are protecting you. But they are projecting their fear onto your future, their fear of failure, their fear of standing out, their fear of disappointment, their fear of the unknown. They have carried those fears their whole lives, and now, watching you prepare to step into something they cannot fully see or understand, those fears get transferred, and they land on you like chains. Here is what I need you to understand. Someone else's fear is not a prophecy about your life. Someone else's inability To see your potential is not evidence that the potential is not there. Someone else's comfort zone is not the boundary of your destiny. You can love the people who are afraid of your greatness and still choose your greatness. You can honor the people who tell you to play small and still choose to rise. You can be gentle with the fear in the people you love and still refuse to let that fear define the limits of your life. Love them and then go anyway. Teach EFOHNEM your own past. This might be the most powerful enemy of all, because it lives inside you. It has access to every room. It knows every fear, every failure, every moment of shame and defeat and humiliation, and it uses all of that information against you. The past says, remember what happened last time. Remember when you tried and it didn't work. Remember when you believed and you were disappointed. Remember when you dared to be fully yourself and it cost you. And the past is not wrong. Those things did happen. But the past is telling you an incomplete story. It is showing you the failures without showing you the growth that came from them. It is showing you the rejections without showing you how they redirected you. It is showing you the closed doors without showing you the rooms those closed doors protected you from entering. Your past is not the final word on your future. It is not even the most accurate word on your future, because you are not the same person who went through those things. You have been changed by them, shaped by them, grown by them. The person who faces the next challenge is not the same person who was defeated by the last one. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You are more prepared now. The same fire that burned you before has actually made you more fire resistant. Stop letting your past write your future. The pen belongs to God, and God's story for you is not finished. Now I want to shift, because we have been talking about why God made you different. We have been talking about the enemies that fight against that difference. And now I want to talk about something that I think is the most practically important part of this entire conversation. How you actually live from your difference. Because there is a gap, a significant gap, between knowing your purpose and walking in it. Between understanding your calling and actually answering it. Between being aware of your gifts and actually using them. And most people stay in the gap their whole lives. They know, but they do not go. I do not want that for you. So let me get very practical with you. Liven jifam yaya difference peren cipla honor protect your inner world. Your difference was born in your inner world. Your gifts live there. Your vision lives there. Your calling speaks from there. And your inner world is under constant assault. Every hour of noise, every scroll through social media, every comparison, every harsh word spoken over you, every discouraging voice, every distraction, all of it is attacking your inner world, slowly eroding the clarity of your vision and the strength of your sense of self. You must protect it. This means creating non-negotiable time for silence, for stillness, for prayer or meditation, or whatever practice allows you to reconnect with the voice inside you that knows who you are. This means being extremely selective about what you allow into your mind, what you watch, what you listen to, what conversations you participate in, what voices you give access to your inner world. This means building a daily practice of returning to yourself, of deliberately choosing every single day to remember who you are and what you are here for. Your inner world is the source. Protect it like your life depends on it. Because in the most real sense it does. Live in GFRM Yayui Ferenci, Purenci IPLEW take the gift seriously. I have noticed something about people who are different, people who carry unusual gifts, unusual depth, unusual calling. They often do not take their gifts seriously. They minimize them, they dismiss them. They say, oh, it is nothing. Anyone could do this. This is not that special. This is just the way I am. And in doing so, they leave the gift undeveloped, unused, unrefined, buried under false modesty and self-doubt. Taking your gift seriously means investing in it, studying it, practicing it, developing it, treating it with the respect that a divine appointment deserves. If you have the gift of understanding people, invest in that. Study psychology, study human behavior, study emotional intelligence. Become the best possible version of what God has made you to be in that area. If you have the gift of communication, practice. Write every day, speak every chance you get, study the great communicators, learn the craft. If you have the gift of vision, sharpen it, journal your insights, track your patterns, develop your ability to see and interpret and translate what you perceive. Whatever your gift is, take it seriously, not because you need to perform for the world, but because the gift was given to you for a reason, and that reason deserves your full commitment. Half-hearted investment in a divine gift is the same as burying it in the ground. Dig it up, polish it, use it. Choose courage over comfort every single day. This is the one that separates the people who simply know they are different from the people who actually change the world because of it. Courage, not the absence of fear, not the feeling of being ready, not confidence that everything will work out. The decision made in the presence of fear, in the absence of certainty, without any guarantee of outcome, to step forward anyway. Every single day you face micro choices, small decisions that seem insignificant in the moment, but compound over time into either a life of expansion or a life of contraction. Do you speak the truth in this conversation, or do you say what is comfortable? Do you take this step toward your calling, or do you wait until you feel more ready? Do you show up fully as yourself in this moment, or do you play a smaller version to manage other people's reactions? Every choice toward courage is a vote for the version of you that God designed. Every choice toward comfort is a vote for the smaller version that the world has been trying to convince you to be. The score accumulates over time. Make your votes count. Levi and Jefframa your difference preP for your trust the timing. This is one of the hardest lessons for people who carry big purpose and big vision. Because when you can see clearly where you are supposed to go, when the calling is burning inside you like a fire you cannot put out, the weight feels unbearable. Why is it not happening yet? Why is the door still closed? Why does it feel like everyone else is moving and I am standing still? I want to speak to this directly and honestly. The timing of God is not random. It is not careless. It is not indifferent to your pain. It is precise. There is a version of you that could step into your destiny right now, today, and handle some of what it requires. But there is a fuller, deeper, more complete version of you that is still being formed, still being tested, still being prepared. And the fullness of what you are supposed to do requires the fullness of who you are supposed to be. The farmer does not plant in autumn and harvest in spring simply because he is impatient. The tree does not produce fruit before its roots are deep enough to sustain it. The diamond does not emerge from the earth before the pressure has done its work. You are not behind, you are in process. And the process is doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Trust it, not blindly, not passively. Keep doing the work, keep growing, keep stepping forward in the areas where you have clarity. But release the anxiety about timing. Release the frantic energy of feeling like you are falling behind. You are not behind. You are right on time, God's time, which, whether it feels like it right now or not, is the only time that matters. I want to share one more thing before we close, and this is perhaps the most important thing I will say in this entire conversation. Your difference is a gift, not just to you, to the world. Think about that for a moment. Really let it land. There are people, real people, with real lives, with real pain and real confusion and real desperate need, who need exactly what God has placed inside you, who need your specific kind of seeing, your specific kind of healing, your specific kind of vision, your specific kind of presence, and they cannot get it from anyone else, not because no one else cares, but because no one else has what you have. No one else has walked your exact path. No one else has survived your exact fire. No one else has been shaped by your exact journey into the exact combination of gifts and wisdom and capacity that you now carry. You are irreplaceable, not in an arrogant way, not in a way that puts you above anyone else, but in a deeply, genuinely true way. There is a contribution that is supposed to come through you, and only you, into the world. And if you spend your life hiding your difference, shrinking your truth, apologizing for your design, that contribution never arrives, and the people who needed it never receive it. This is not pressure. I am not saying that to make you feel guilty or afraid. I am saying it because I want you to understand the real stakes of this decision. The decision to fully embrace who you are is not just a decision for yourself. It is a decision for every person you are supposed to reach, every life you are supposed to touch, every soul you are supposed to help find their way. When you rise, others rise because of you. When you hide, their rising is delayed. You matter that much. Your difference matters that much. So here is where we land. God made you different, not by accident, not as a side effect of some cosmic random process. Intentionally, deliberately, with a specific plan and a specific purpose and a specific contribution in mind. He made you different because your assignment required it, because you were sent to break patterns that needed breaking, because easy paths produce weak people and your calling requires a strength that only difficulty can build, because the world needed eyes that could see what others miss, because there was new ground to pioneer and only pioneers can do that, because you carry a message that only your life can produce, and because the world, in all its beauty and all its limitation, was never going to be enough for a soul designed for eternity. That is why you are different, and now you know. The question is no longer why. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you continue to fight your difference? Continue to mourn it? Continue to wish you were simpler, easier, more like everyone else? Or will you, starting today, starting in this moment, begin to lean into it, to trust it, to build from it, to walk boldly in the truth of who you were made to be? The world does not need another person who blends in. The world needs you, the real you, the fully alive, fully awake, fully expressed version of you that God had in mind before time began. So stop waiting, stop hiding, stop apologizing, rise, because you were made different, and the world will never be the same because of it. This is Rise of Chosen, and this is just the beginning. Wait. Before you go, I need to say one more thing, because I know some of you right now are in a really dark place. I know some of you clicked on this video not from a place of curiosity or inspiration, but from a place of pain, from a place of exhaustion, from a place of wondering if any of this is even real. You have been different your whole life, and it has cost you deeply. Relationships that did not survive your growth, opportunities that seemed to close the moment you started to rise, family members who do not understand you, friends who drifted away when you started to change, seasons of such profound isolation that the word loneliness barely begins to cover it. And right now you are sitting there wondering, if I am truly chosen, if my difference is truly a gift, then why does it hurt this much? I hear you, and I want to say something to you directly. What you are feeling is not a sign that none of this is true. It is actually confirmation that it is. Because the enemy, whether you understand that concept spiritually or psychologically, or however your worldview frames it, the enemy does not attack what is meaningless. It does not wage war against what is ordinary. It does not pour resistance and pain and isolation and opposition onto lives that are going to do nothing significant. The intensity of the opposition in your life is evidence of the significance of your assignment. I want you to think about that. The more powerful the potential, the more fierce the resistance. Iron is not tempered by mild heat, it is tempered by fire. Extreme, intense, sustained fire. And the iron that survives that process becomes something that ordinary iron can never be. You are being tempered. And I know that is not easy to hear when you are in the middle of the fire. I know that when you are burning, the last thing that comforts you is someone saying, "This is good for you, I know that. So I will not just say that. I will also say this, you are not alone in the fire." Every single person who has ever been chosen for something significant has stood exactly where you are standing, has felt exactly what you are feeling, has wondered exactly what you are wondering, has been tempted to give up, give in, walk away, disappear into the comfortable anonymity of a smaller life. Every single one of them. And the ones who made it through, the ones whose names you know, whose stories inspire you, whose lives became what they were meant to become, they made it through because of one thing. They refused to quit. Not because they were fearless, not because they never doubted, not because the pain was not real or the cost was not high, but because something inside them, something deeper than fear, stronger than doubt, more stubborn than pain, refused to give up on the truth of who they were. That something is inside you too. I can feel it, even through this screen. You did not find this video by accident. You did not make it this far into this conversation by accident. Something in you, that thing, that deep stubborn knowing, led you here, and that same thing is going to lead you through. So hold on, keep going. Do not let the fire convince you that you are finished. You are not finished. You are being forged. And what is coming out of this fire is going to be more powerful, more beautiful, more impactful than anything you can currently imagine. The best chapter of your story has not been written yet. God is still writing, and He writes stories that end in glory. Trust Him with yours. One final thing. I want you to make a commitment. Right now, in this moment, not to me, not to this channel, not to some external standard of achievement or success, to yourself, a commitment that says, from this day forward, I will no longer fight who I am. I will no longer apologize for how I was made. I will no longer shrink to fit spaces that were not designed for me. I will no longer wait for permission to be fully, completely, unapologetically myself. I am different. I was made different, on purpose, with a plan, for a reason that is bigger than I can fully see from where I am standing right now. And I choose, starting today, to live from that truth. Not perfectly, not without fear, not without doubt or struggle or moments of wanting to go back to the easier path, but I choose it, consistently, every single day. Returning to this truth every time I drift away from it. I am different because God made me different, and I will spend the rest of my life becoming fully what He made me to be. Say that, mean it, live it, and watch what happens. This is Rise of Chosen. Your journey starts now.